What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Oh, you guys. Today is another day, a beautiful day, a glorious day. Welcome back to Thursday. If you've never experienced a Thursday before, I guess that means that you were born 6 days ago-ish. And why are you watching this show? If you're only 6 days old, you've got better things to do than to watch the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for coming back for another episode of Gotta Love Them Movies. As you know, we do this show Monday through Friday, every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So whatever part of the world that happens to be where you are, do the math, reverse engineer. You know what's going on. This is just an online community where we come together and talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news. And speaking of movie news, there's a lot. There's like a lot of crazy stuff that's happened very recently. A big news bomb dropped this morning, which I'm like, wait, hang on. Yes, I am all about it. It's not entirely surprising. You know, we'll talk about it later. And I'm hinting at it right now when I point to my t-shirt. But we'll definitely get to that later. But first and foremost, I want to introduce my guest for today. She's a very good friend of mine. We've known each other for, I don't know, how many years now? A lot of years. She's a teacher at the People's Improv Theater, same as myself, although that has been put into question as of recent events. We're not going to talk about that because that's all weird stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for a very good friend of mine, Ms. Katie Hammond. Woo!
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. What a beautiful day / glorious day.
It is a glorious day, Katie. What have you been getting up to?
You know, quarantine, a whole lot of sitting, and you know, I sigh a lot. I look out the window a lot. I've watched a lot of television shows in like a binge order that I probably never would have watched otherwise.
Interesting. What are you watching?
Well, of course, my husband and I, we just finished Schitt's Creek last night.
I'm in season 2. We're just finishing season 2 right now.
Okay, you're nailing it. We were like on pins and needles because they just released the final season on Netflix last week.
Yeah. So
we were like, I wanted to gobble through it in a day and was asked to slow it down. So we watched it in 2 days. So we did that, and then we watched this like British murder mystery series called Marcella.
Ooh,
it's very,
never heard
dark.
Of it. Tell me about it.
It essentially season 1 follows this British police detective. Did you ever watch Pushing Daisies?
You know, I had an ex-girlfriend years ago try to get me into it, and she's like, "You gotta watch this show. You're gonna love it." And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
so,
well,
no.
She's the lead girl from Pushing Daisies, not Kristen Chenoweth, the brown-haired girl.
Oh, okay.
But she plays a police detective who has like violent blackouts where she wakes up and is like bloody and bruised and she can't remember anything, and is the first season essentially she's solving a crime that she may or may not have committed.
Right.
And then season 2 gets real dark, and then season 3 takes a turn and it's like a totally different show but with the same 2 characters.
Interesting.
So we watched that, and again in the before times I'm not sure I would have wanted to watch the whole thing.
Well, hey, you know, this is the weirdest timeline. Like, I've been saying this for, I want to say years now, but, you know, somebody threw a 20 on the D&D die, and then all, you know, kerfuffle
Everything
has broken
came out.
loose. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it really is like time is where. Do you watch The Good Place?
Again, I watched the first 6 episodes. I saw the first 6 episodes, and I really liked it, and I got distracted, and I never got back to it. But
you got to get back to it. But they
raved.
make a reference to like the idea of infinity, but the timeline of infinity is something called Jeremy Bearimy, where it just like does this, but everything's a circle, and that is the timeline that I feel like we're living in. Like every day feels like it takes a year, and then the week is over. It's very strange.
When I was living in Europe, that was kind of how it was. Like it felt like this weird like infinity. So I lived in Ireland for 2 years. For the first year, it just felt like it droned on and on and on and on. And then you hit the halfway mark. In the second year, boom, it just
gone.
It just yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Done.
I mean, I like that you just casually dropped living in Ireland, like it was no
Who
big deal.
hasn't? Who hasn't at this point? I think we should all move to Ireland. Katie,
They won't let us in. That's the problem.
well, I mean, when you work for an airline, sometimes you get special privileges. So we'll see about sneaking in. You
Okay.
guys, let's all sneak into Ireland. As I say it publicly live on Facebook, let's all secretly sneak into another country. We'll go to
Let's do it.
Canada and then go to Ireland. How about
Oh,
that?
Canada, you can't. My parents have a little house in Ontario, and they tried to like go to Canada to close the house down for the winter, and they got like hard rejected at the
Wow.
border. They like got rapid tested that day, had gas, food for
Wow.
3 weeks, like an action plan of how they would not interact with anyone, and the border was like, nope.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
if at first you don't succeed, try again.
I'll tell my 75-year-old
I
parents that
guess
they'll be
I don't
glad
know.
to hear it.
Let's. I I want to hear a report back on this and see what's going on with that. Anyway, speaking of things going on, you guys, welcome back. Like I said, to another show. We're going to jump right into things. But before we talk about our movie news, first we have to tell you how to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go over to youtube.com, type in Gotta Love Them Movies. In the top right-hand corner, you're going to see a little red square that says subscribe. Go ahead and click that button. What clicking that button does is it helps to widen our subscriber base. But Mike, you say, we're watching this show on Facebook Live. Why do we have to go over to your YouTube channel and subscribe? Well, that's a very great question, Carl. Thank you for asking. And as per Carl's question, when we get more subscribers on the YouTube channel, it means I get to qualify for ad revenue. And when I qualify for ad revenue, it means I get to make this show my full-time job. So I'd very much appreciate the support. Jump on over to YouTube, click that subscribe button, and off we go. And of course, as soon as we get 1,000 subscribers, we will be moving the show live from Facebook to YouTube. So just something to be aware of on that front. All right, guys, with that down and out of the way, let's jump in and take a little bit of movie news.
What?
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 All right, you guys, let's talk about a few things that have popped up very recently in the news today. And first and foremost, NATO. That is not the North American, what's Nate? I can't remember what.
Do you want me to Google it? Because I also don't know.
Well, I know what this NATO stands for, but like in the traditional sense, like isn't it NATO? It's like the group of like
On that.
countries.
It is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
That's what I was thinking of. That is not this NATO. There are two different NATOs. This particular NATO is the North American Theater Owners Association. So it should, I guess, be NATOA. But I guess that's a little too crazy. Anyway, NATO has put a call out to the masses, to the people, with a hashtag Save Your Cinema. If you are unaware of what's going on in the news right now, if you're unaware of what's going on in the world right now, there's a pandemic, right? Which means that we can't really go out and live our lives the way that we used to a year ago. And one of the huge hitters, one of the biggest, largest industries that is taking a massive hit that has not been able to get much help in that regard is Hollywood, is filmmaking, they are studios, they are cinemas themselves. And it all starts with the cinemas. Because here's the thing, guys. We all love movies. We all love television shows. But if the studios can't make money from these movies and television shows, then they can't make more movies. And our entertainment goes down. Now, I understand. This comes with a huge asterisk attached to it. Small potatoes, right? Like, there are bigger fish to fry right now. We have bigger problems in the world that exist. First of all, we're going in, this is an election year. So definitely get yourself registered, go out to vote. Second of all, there's a huge global pandemic. People are actually dying. It is important to wear your masks to prevent the spread of more coronavirus. And the faster that we can get this thing squelched, the faster we can get back to living our lives. So this is why...
Good use of the word squelch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So here's the thing. I understand that saving movie theaters in the grand scheme of things is small potatoes. However, this is not just a small little thing. This is a massive industry. There are hundreds of thousands of people whose livelihoods depend on the success of films and television shows. And it's not just actors. It's not just film studios. It's easy to look at studios like Disney or Warner Brothers or Paramount and say, you have more money than God. And of course, this is my 1930s. How dare you tell us you need more money? But that's kind of the reality, is if this industry dies, if this goes away, it starts with the movie theaters. And nobody's going to the theaters right now. Understandably so. If the movie theaters can make it through the pandemic, they'll be fine. People are going to go back to the movies. In fact, we're starved for movies. The last film I saw in theaters was The Invisible Man with Kate Moss. Great film. I loved it. It was a wonderful experience. Other people didn't quite have the same experience. Some people went out to go see Trolls World Tour.
Speaking of, did you ever see, I don't mean to interrupt,
please.
but did you see, somebody posted a meme that was like, in all of the apocalypse movies, you see like the rundown city streets of like the old movie posters for whatever was last showing. And they're like, I never thought that ours would have been Trolls World Tour.
Oh, it's so
Like,
sad.
The zombies going by and like the happy trolls being like, hey, and it's just these dilapidated old
Oh,
posters.
it's so sad. But it's true though. It's true.
Yeah.
And so, like, here's the thing, you guys. I'm a huge advocate of people going back to the theaters. I personally, if movie theaters were to open in New York City, which they're currently closed right now, New York and Los Angeles, movie theaters are closed. I'm a huge advocate that if we can do it safely, if all moviegoers agree to, the certain set of wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance. If we all agree to this, I don't see the problem. But the problem is that not everybody agrees to this, which makes this coronavirus pandemic that much worse, and it just keeps getting dragged out. Katie, I don't know if you've had a chance to see this. By the way, your screen is frozen.
Oh no.
Let's see if we can do anything to get your screen unfrozen.
I hope it's a really unflattering face that I'm making.
You're at a profile view and you're looking down. So
I'm taking notes. I want to be on top of it.
You are on top of it. All right. Well, I guess we'll just kind of wait and see if Katie's screen unfreezes itself. What if I turn
off and come back?
Yeah, try that. See what happens. Right. Oh, there she is, live and in charge. Oh, of course, and it resized the screen. All right, so
I'm sorry, I ruined everything.
No, you're fine. We'll see if this... we'll kind of let it go for a moment. It's super annoying, but we'll see if things get back to normal. Katie, you're just seeing this. What are your initial thoughts of having the North American theater owners, email your congressman, get the word out, because if theaters don't recover soon, there's a very real possibility, an actual genuine real possibility, that movie theaters are going to close down permanently, and then we won't have any exhibitors to show these movies on, which means if they just go to streaming, they're not going to make the same amount of money that they would in theaters, and then we don't get any movies at all.
I honestly am in the middle, right? Where I hear what you're saying and I agree with you that like this is all trickle down and it ends at the ticket takers, and they're the ones who are first to get, in trouble, right? But also, I think that we were in trouble before. Like, why were movie theater tickets in New York City, for example, $15 to $25 a piece? To go and sit in a dark room with strangers on either side of you talking on their cell phones. Like, I haven't been to the movies really not regularly since MoviePass died. When MoviePass was a thing, I was like, this is awesome. And I went to see all the movies because it was affordable and fun. But I've been going to, there's a drive-in movie theater in Queens.
What?
And I
didn't know about this.
Oh yeah. And there's one in Brooklyn that's like, and then they're doing it up at Yankee Stadium. They're turning that into a drive-in. So there are other ways to have a similar experience, but not. But also I think that all of these big, huge, I think maybe AMC, maybe Regal, they'll close forever. But I think little mom and pop movie theaters, when it's safe, will reopen maybe not soon, but like 10 years from now, they'll be like, let's open this little like vaudeville house that shows movies 5 nights a week and does like a comedy set on
Yeah.
Saturdays or something. I see that happening more so than we'll never have movies again in the theater.
So what's your opinion on the North American theater owners telling people to write their congressmen and saying, hey, like, we need some kind of a bailout. If we don't make it through the pandemic, we're done. We're done for. AMC is the largest exhibitor in the world. Regal is owned by Cineworld in Europe, and they are the second largest exhibitor in the world. And if the top two, I mean, you say, yeah, okay, AMC and Regal, if they go away, that's a possibility, but the smaller mom and pop places, that means, 30 to 40% of the box office is just gone.
Yeah. Obviously, I think let's bail out all of the working people. But if our government, has given each person $1,200 and 7 months of unemployment, and as someone who has, 70% of my income is gone, like I am still working a little, which thank goodness. But, my income for 2020 is going to actively be, I think, 30% of what it should have been. So, and the government doesn't care about the individuals. Mm-hmm. So it's on one hand, I'm like, well, then who cares about the big businesses? But what needs to happen is like, set some rules, help the tiny individuals, and then those rules will help the companies. Yeah. So I hear it, I support it, but I'm not going to write a letter about that. I'm going to write a letter about, a lot of other things.
Well, it's a good point. Anyway, guys, question is to you, what do you think of the North American theater owners asking the masses to write their congressmen and senators and saying, hey, listen, we need a bailout because if the theaters don't make it through, what's going to happen? Are you for it? Are you against it? Are you somewhere in the middle? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, so that was we had a little bit of movie news today. Now we're going to go into our main topics. Previously in the week, you guys had emailed me a few questions, and if you guys want to get an email question on the show, it's really rather simple. All you have to do is write me an email at GottaLoveThemMovies@gmail.com. GottaLoveThemMovies@gmail.com. Really easy, really simple. Just shoot me an email. It's a 24-hour service because, email. So without further ado, we're going to take your emailed questions, right, and open up the Gotta Love Them Movies mailbag. All right, you guys, we're going to open up that Gotta Love Them Movies mailbag right now. And our first email comes to us from Tanya, who lives in Franklin, Pennsylvania, my birthplace, the place where I was birthed and raised for the first 7 years of my life. And Tanya says, hey, Mike, on your show the other day, you mentioned how much you hate Billie Eilish and her new theme song for the upcoming James Bond movie. This is true. Why do you hate her so much? I think the song sounds great. Well, Tanya, thank you so much for the question. And, even more than that, thanks for watching the show. And
why do you hate Billie Eilish so much?
Here we go.
I've heard you say it, but I've never gotten into it. So I am curious what you hate about her.
Like, you're familiar with her style of music, yes?
Sort of just like, angsty teen grunge in my bedroom with my brother playing all this other sounds.
So I'm not entirely opposed.
That's my impression of Billie Eilish.
It's pretty good. It's pretty spot on, actually. I had Harrison Greenbaum on the show the other day, and we were talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, do your best Billie Eilish. And he was like, meh, 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 meh. And he's like, no. You need to whisper. Yeah. Okay, so there's a certain trend within music where, and keep in mind, none of this matters. My opinion doesn't matter. It straight up does not matter. So all that being, the preface being put out there, I'm the kind of person that in my music, I love melody. Even if melody is reduced to a hook or like a loop, I'm all for it. Like, I love, like...
You want to be able to sing along.
I love humming the tune. And with a Billie Eilish song, there is no tune. It's, let's look at the song Bad Guy. It goes dun 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 dun. It's two notes.
Scoop, 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 scoop.
That's all it is.
And she just says scoop,
Scoop,
scoop.
scoop.
Yep.
Is she like a really big fan of Scooby-Doo?
I mean, I think secretly, probably.
Scoob.
My only exposure to Billie Eilish is, did you watch Some Good News when John Krasinski was like in charge of it before he sold it off and it became
I would
terrible?
pop in and catch an episode, but I didn't watch it regularly, no.
Well, he did like a prom. He like hosted a prom and had some celebrity guests come in and perform, and she was one of them.
That's cool.
And it was really nice, but she and her brother like pre-recorded it, which I totally understand for, whatever. But she was so dull. Like when John Krasinski was interviewing her before, she just was like sitting like a troll, like a not a troll, that's mean, but like she was just kind of like hunched over and like, I don't care. And it's like, if you don't care, then why did you do this?
It's the same reason that I don't like watching Kristen Stewart on screen. I don't like watching her in an interview. There's this weird idea or attitude that exists in certain pockets of pop culture or like entertainment, really, where certain people play the too cool for school part. And I get it.
I think you and I really lean into that brand.
I just don't. I don't want people to get all up on my stuff. Please. I've been doing like this raspy, like vocal fry very lately, and it's just right in the back of my throat. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But like, there's this too cool for school attitude that is just so annoying to me. Yeah. And here's the thing. Let's see it for what it is. Billie Eilish is I think she won 3 Grammys at her her debut album. Was it 3?
Should I Google it? Oh, I have no idea.
It's either 3 or 4. Yeah. Go ahead and Google it.
Okay.
She won either 3 or 4 Grammys the first time she ever went to the Grammy, except for like a few singles here or there. It was her first album, her very first album, her debut album. She won all these Grammys, and she's 18 years old. And nothing against her accomplishments, because that is a massive accomplishment. 4. It was 4 Grammys?
I think so. This is showing her as... in 2019... this is very complicated. I think you could be right. I saw in Wikipedia 4.
Scoop.
4 scoops.
Scoop. Yeah. So, I mean, Billie Eilish is talented, and I don't want to take that away from her, because she is very talented. You don't win.
She's just not your cup of tea.
She's not my cup of tea. And when it comes to a James Bond song, here, let me bring this photo back up again. When it comes to...
I haven't heard it.
You should check it out, because the tune isn't terrible. It's okay. It harkens back to kind of the Spectre theme with
Adele.
No, Adele did Skyfall. Who did Spectre?
Sure, of course she did.
Oh man, what's his name? If anybody's watching, can you tell me the name of the guy who did the Sam Smith? So Sam Smith did the theme song for Spectre, and it was okay. It wasn't great. Again, it tried to be too cool for school. And the Billie Eilish song, in my opinion, is so whispery. Here's the thing. When it's a James Bond theme song, we, the audience, need to go on a musical journey at the very beginning of the film to let us know what to expect. Like, is this going to be a big action movie? Is it going to be passionate? Is it going to be romantic? Like, is it going to be sexy? Like, what is this movie that I'm about to watch going to be? Take me on a musical journey. Give me a preamble, That's the whole point of a James Bond song, like the opening theme song. And when you have this like this angsty whisper, is that what I'm supposed to expect from a James Bond theme song? I'm not saying it's a bad song.
But
go ahead.
Do you also, I would counter this. I haven't heard the song, and I agree with everything you've said about Billie Eilish to this point. So I'm not arguing with you in general. But I will say that I really like Adele, and I thought her James Bond song was like, so maybe it's the ask is so
Hold on,
big.
wait. You said the Adele song was what?
I thought the Adele theme song for Skyfall, I thought it was really like, bleh,
Oh,
totally just like
oh,
medium.
okay.
And I wonder if just like the idea of creating a theme song for James Bond is such a big undertaking that there's no way to feel like nailed it, right? So it's just everybody sort of misses the mark.
That's a
But
fair.
also,
That's a fair perspective.
I haven't heard this new one, and I'm positive that you're right.
I mean, it's whispery, and it just didn't do it for me. It's not the kind of song that I would point to and say, yes, this is a James Bond song. You know, same thing with just Billie Eilish in general. She's not a bad musician. She's, as you put it, not my cup of tea. She's not the kind of music that is. First of all, it's not meant for me. Like, I am not the demographic.
You are not the target.
No, not at all. And again, I would also argue that this upcoming James Bond movie, even though is for my demographic, it is not being marketed towards my demographic. Because for the franchise to continue...
Well, you're already going to see it.
Exactly, yeah. It's a guaranteed thing. I'm
Yeah,
already going to go
they
see
don't
it.
have to.
Yeah. So, anyway, question is for you guys. What do you think of the Billie Eilish theme song? Have you had a chance to listen to it? I mean, I don't want you to navigate away from this show because, of course, this is so riveting. But check it out when you have a chance. Did you love it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. We are going to jump into email number 2. And email number 2 comes to us from Greg in New Jersey. And Greg says, dude, did you see that Black Adam movie got pulled? The Black Adam movie got pulled from DC and Warner Brothers release schedule. Does this mean they're not doing the movie anymore? Well, not entirely, not per se. Here's the thing: this particular article is coming from MovieWeb, but I mean, like, just Google Black Adam delay or whatever, or pulled from release schedule. You find a million different articles about it. Yes. So Warner Brothers, and specifically DC, did maybe like a month and a half ago, they did the DC Fandom event where it's all things DC Comics, specifically in the movies, like different movies coming out. They really put a lot of money and a lot of effort behind this thing to say, look at all of these movies that are coming out. They announced a recut of the Justice League. We're doing the Zack Snyder Justice League movie, or television show now, I guess, really, where they're recutting the whole film, and it's being broken up in 4 different episodes. They're doing a Flash movie. So many updates about Robert Pattinson's Batman movie, Matthew Vaughn, so Wonder Woman 84, so many announcements. And one of the announcements that they spent a lot of time on was the Black Adam movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This is a movie it's been in development since 2014, and it's been talked about since 2007, not just by fans, but by the studios. It's been talked about since 2007. Seriously, in development since 2014. I think that's when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was cast as Black Adam. 6 years ago? That's a long time. So, at the DC Fandom event, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson pops up on screen and he says, hey, you're not going to have to wait that much longer. The Black Adam movie comes out next year, in 2021. They already did a little bit of casting news. Like, they said that we were going to get Hawkman. Like, Hawkman already got cast. Dr. Fate is going to be in it. Atom Smasher is going to be, I think he already got cast as well. And of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and they're all coming together for the Justice Society of America. A little bit different from the Justice League. It's the Justice Society, which Katie, I can hear you're snickering a little bit, but rightfully so. Where did you go?
I'm here.
Hang on. There you are. First of all, before we continue, have you heard of the Justice Society of America?
Oh no, I only heard you reference men actors, so I don't feel like that is a movie targeted to women because there are none in it.
Currently, yeah. I
Yeah.
think, yeah. Truth.
So,
Truth.
that's not the
Fair
climate
point.
for 2020 to live in.
Right? Right?
Get it together.
But hey, I will say the casting is very diverse.
That's great.
They're
I'm
all
glad for
men,
that.
but diverse men. So here's the thing. So with the Black Adam movie being pulled from the release schedule currently, you ask Greg, does this mean that they're not going to do the movie anymore? I contend, well, of course they're still going to do the movie. They always have been doing the movie. It keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. A very similar thing happened to the Shazam movie, where we heard about it, we heard it was happening, and it kept getting pushed back and pushed back. And now it's been the Black Adam film has been completely removed from the release schedule. It's maddening because it's the kind of film that, we've been looking forward to and we've been hearing for a long time. And of course, it's going to set up a lot of other things in the DC universe and what they're going to be doing. And it's
Sure, the Justice Alliance needs to have a long-term
it's
plan.
very true. What are they going to do? The Justice Alliance, the Justice Brigade.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
The Justice
Justice
Team,
People.
the Justice Posse.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, how about the Justice Parliament? That has a nice heavy ring. Hard to say.
Justice Parliament. But everybody has to wear a monocle.
Or we're the Parliament of Justice.
Ooh.
That sounds cool.
I feel like that's like the movie
That's
that
only
happens
women.
before superheroes are introduced.
Yeah, it's only women.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So Katie, I know you're not the biggest comic book fan. You're not into like a lot of the more comic book movies, the nerdy, the geeky type world. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not really arguably, it's kind of a fact, he's the biggest movie star in the world right now.
And didn't it just come out that he's like the highest paid actor?
Highest paid actor, just above Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds number 2, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson number 1. Yeah.
Well, having just watched Hobbs and Shaw, which both Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Ryan Reynolds are in,
I still haven't seen it.
honestly, my husband did a movie club with his work people that started, when quarantine started, and they were like, haha, wouldn't it be hilarious if we watched all the Fast and the Furious movies? And I agreed to be a part of it because what else are you going to do? And thought like, oh, this will be over in a month. Who cares? And then I was like 2 months and now 7 months. So we got all the way through all of them. And then Hobbs and Shaw, by far the best of the series. By like leap and bounds.
Leaps
it was
and
funny.
bounds.
It was like, it took itself seriously, but in like a different way. Anyway, I have no opinion about Black Adam because I'm not sure if you're saying Black Adam ADAM or if you're saying Black Adam ATOM.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's Adam like the name.
I like The Rock. I think he's very charming. I follow him on Instagram.
It's interesting that you say that because I think there was a new report that came out either yesterday or today. I think it was this morning that The Rock now has the most Instagram followers of anyone else on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I think that's great.
I love that he just is like constantly putting out positive.
He is.
I'm not sure that it's all the time sincere or legit, but he just seems like a guy who tries really hard to be kind and good. And not in like a, I'm going to be abusive to you, Ellen DeGeneres, sneaky backdoor way,
Sure.
But like, just like he knows that he's got to really work hard to like keep people on his side. And I say good for you, man.
I agree.
And I love how much he loves himself and like how he constantly is talking about being Maui from Moana. And like, he puts up a bunch of videos of singing Maui songs to his daughter on Instagram.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, she's very small and he's enormous.
So this is a huge passion project for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's been in it. He has been all about this Black Adam movie, and it is ADAM, as in the name.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, my dear. Being that this is a passion project for him, do you think that there's any chance that this is going to get sidelined indefinitely?
I mean, I guess I'm curious if they started talking about it with him in 2014. Was the delay because he just was so busy with all of the other movies that he made?
That between his schedule and also between there was also a changeover of the DC Films president. So I can't remember who the older guy or the other guy was, but then Walter Hamada stepped in and took over as the president of DC Films, and he like when like Man of Steel wasn't doing so well, and then Justice League wasn't doing so well, and like there was a few, Suicide Squad was a huge stinker. He came in and kind of revamped the series, and then we started getting like decent DC films. Like Wonder Woman was fantastic. The Joker movie was brilliant. Oh, I can't recommend that movie enough. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I loved it.
It would definitely be like a cup of trash for me.
It's dark.
I don't like. I think the way you feel about Billie Eilish is how I feel about Joaquin Phoenix.
Interesting.
I just think he's such a creep.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I'm not interested. And also, like, I'm tired of watching movies about men who had hard childhoods and who are just like figuring out how to have feelings, and we're supposed to celebrate them figuring out how to be a human being. Like, get it together.
True. The thing about the Joker movie is that it's not so much about, man, I had a bad childhood. It's about mental illness. And it's about the system is not doing what it should be doing, or even what it could be doing to help mental illness. And that is what made in the Joker movie, that is what made the Joker the Joker. It's a great character study and a commentary to say that like the world that we're currently living in, okay, yeah, Gotham City and Bruce Wayne and Joker, blah blah blah, whatever. But like the world that we live in, there's so much that we could be doing to help people with mental illness and disabilities, and really, it's easy to, when you look at the super rich, like the 1%, it's so easy to reach down and pull someone up. That's what we should be doing, but we're not. Not even the middle class. It's all about reaching up, but nobody's reaching down. And when, these programs, there's a pivotal moment in the film where like he finds out that he's not getting his medication anymore and he can't go to therapy anymore. Sorry. And he's just cast aside. Well, what is somebody like that going to do?
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I thought it was brilliant. I loved the commentary there, but anyway,
I didn't mean to bring things down. I love The Rock, and I bet because it's a passion project, going back to what you asked me originally, that he will figure out a way to make it.
I think so too. Yeah.
Or you know what? What if he did like what everybody's doing now with like the table readings over Zoom?
Ooh.
Where it's like he just is like, guys, I'm gonna have my daughter in my lap, and I'll be in my beautiful paradise backyard. And we'll just read the script out loud.
Because they can't read the whole script because it's, going to spoil the whole thing. But like, if they take like the opening sequence and just do like a table read of like the first 3 pages, that would be huge. That would be huge. I don't know if he could legally get away with doing that. I would imagine there's a lot of NDAs.
I'm sure he's a producer of it.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Oh, I'm sure he is.
So he can, and he's on. I mean, what are they going to do? Kick him off the movie? He can do anything. So, Dwayne, when you're watching this, that's what I think you should do.
Do it.
We all need it. We all need you to be kind and good in that way.
Can we start a hashtag? Hashtag the
table read?
Hashtag The Rock reads Black Adam. Is that table read? We'll figure it out.
A friend of mine is doing like I'm going to sing every song Jewel has ever sung every day in order until she notices me. And she's on like day 17. And she's just like singing through Jewel's, not catalog. What's the word? Catalog.
Yeah.
In order. So like you could do something like that, where just like every day you do a different.
That's wonderful.
Ode to The Rock.
Until he notices. A few years ago, when I was still doing movie reviews, and I guess I still kind of do movie reviews now, but I really wanted to interview. I can't remember the actor who plays.
Paul Rudd
on Stranger Things. The girl who dies right at the very beginning.
Barb.
I really wanted to interview her, so I just like every day I would wake up and I would tag her in a post on Twitter. And it got to the point where I did it for like 2 weeks in a row. And my friends were like, Mike, you got to stop this. This is getting creepy and stalkerish. And I'm
No,
like,
you have to continue. Did you stop?
I did, because I was like, well, if another heterosexual white male is telling me that it sounds stalkery,
Oh,
maybe
I
I
guess
should.
I don't think about that.
Maybe I should
But
knock it off.
but if it's for like the show, because I think really all it is like enough people have to like it or retweet it to like have them be like, what are these 100 people talking about?
That was my goal, but apparently nobody else caught on except for me. So
Ugh,
I don't know.
Dumbos.
Anyway, guys,
It's not too late.
it's not too late. It is not too. Let's start it back up. Hashtag resurgence for Barb. But guys, a question is for you. What do you think of the Black Adam news? Do you think it's coming back, or do you think this is it? Do you think it's done? Is it just going to be shelved for another 6 years? What do you think? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, time to move on to email number 3. And email number 3 is from Katie. Oh, Katie!
I sent you an email.
Well, apparently you moved to Salt Lake City,
Yeah.
set up residency, a friendship under a false pretense, and then moved back to New York. Anyway.
It was a very busy weekend.
Hey, you're a busy lady. So Katie from Salt Lake says, well, Disney is officially on my garbage list. Uh-oh. After paying the $30 premium plus a monthly Disney Plus subscription, just so my kids could watch the new Mulan movie, today I find out that had I waited a month, I could have owned it on VOD for the same price and gotten their special features not on Disney Plus. This stinks. And unfortunately,
stink.
yeah, this news was just coming out, I think, yesterday. Disney, well, it came out a couple of weeks ago, but I think Mulan became available on VOD for everyone yesterday.
What is VOD?
Video on demand.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That is a thing I've heard
Yeah,
of.
so if you want to purchase a movie on iTunes or the Google Play Store or Amazon, whatever, you can right now, you can drop what you're doing and go purchase the movie, and then it's yours. It's your movie. Unlike the rest of us suckers who paid, I have the $6.99 Disney Plus subscription. I paid an extra.
Did you have that before Hamilton, or did you get it for Hamilton?
Disney Plus?
Yeah.
I got it for the Mandalorian when it came out last year.
Did you know? I'm sure you knew this, but my one fun fact about the Mandalorian is that it was the biggest. Oh, I don't even know how to phrase it. It was like the most successful program in the history of Disney Plus in its launch
Disney
week.
Plus? Oh, you mean like
Yeah.
any streaming service or just Disney Plus?
I think, honestly, I can look it up, but I think it's just like Disney Plus for sure.
Because that
Now I'm
makes
gonna have
sense
to
to me,
look it up.
because they have not put out very much content. They put out, they launched with Mandalorian, and then we had to wait a long time, and then we got Hamilton, which they weren't planning on releasing on Disney Plus. That was supposed to be a theatrical release.
Right.
And then now we're getting Mandalorian season 2 coming up. I mean, they dropped Muppets Now, which was a stinker. They have a whole bunch, like a huge category has been released on Disney Plus, but not a lot of things to sign up for with Disney Plus.
Yeah. And it feels like a lot. I mean, to pay, I get it if they're going to like pay $30 for your whole family to watch something. Aren't they giving it away in December for free? Like if you wait till December, you just get to see it for free on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm. So this is the big hair puller for a lot of people, and myself included. We were told a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, that Mulan was going to be released on Disney Plus. It's not going to get a theatrical release, and you're going to have to pay a $30 premium price for it. I, at the time, was very much okay with this, because if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense from a marketing perspective.
Sure.
If the film if there are no movie theaters for it to debut in, and you can't make a theatrical cut of money, then yeah, definitely release it on your streaming service and ask a $30 premium charge. Your family of 4, and if you live in New York City, you're going to pay $20 a movie ticket. So now your family of 4, you would normally pay $80. You're only paying $30 plus all of your concessions, popcorn, soda, chips, crackers. Do they have crackers? Pizza, whatever. Now you're saving all of that money, and you're only paying $30 to see the film as many times as you want.
Right.
So I got that. I was behind it. I was saying, look, if these movies don't make money, because the operating budget of Mulan was $200 million, you have to spend another $200 million. Earlier, Katie, you were saying about, like, why are movie tickets so expensive? This is why. Because we're making movies for $250 million. That's why ticket prices go up. The theaters don't get a cut of that money. Well, they get a very small cut.
I mean, the theaters charge $20 for popcorn and a soda.
That's where they earn their money.
That's where they make their money.
That's where they make their money. That's how they're
A
still
friend
in
of mine
business.
only would see daytime shows and then would sneak in a breakfast burrito, and that's how they would watch their movies.
And in New York, they don't even care if you sneak in your own stuff. They don't care.
Not at all.
Anyway, all this is to say, Disney did a very underhanded thing by, and I understand the VOD, or rather the premium release on Disney Plus didn't perform as well as they had hoped.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close. So when they release this film on VOD and say, hey, now you can own the film and do whatever you want with it for $30, and you get all these special features, which if you're like me and you rented the movie for 3 months on Disney Plus, you don't get the special features.
Right.
Katie, what's your takeaway from this? Like, I think we can all agree that this was a very underhanded thing for Disney to do, but geez Louise, like, why would you upset your base like that?
I mean, because I'm not sure that I am going to be able to say this in a neutral way, but I think that the people at the top of the Disney pyramid are not looking at the bottom, which is the people who like pay money and like support the franchise.
Yeah.
And like, I used to work at Walt Disney World in Orlando, and I was very happy there. They treated me very well. But then when I left, there was like all of this change up of entertainment because of decisions that were made at the very top of the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And they just were like, a third of entertainment is just cut now because we don't need it anymore. And so all of the things I hear about Disney doing that feel really shady and terrible, I'm like, oh, it's that same mentality of it's going to help us right now, but no long-term ability to be like, oh, maybe in 5 years, people won't want to come to a theme park that has no shows and just rides.
Wow.
Like, or like there's no long-term recognition of like, oh, maybe this will come back and bite us if we screw everybody over. Because I think it's trash,
Wow, it is.
Like,
you're right. No, it is trash, and
I agree with myself from Utah.
I'm gonna adopt that lyric. I agree with myself. It sucks. It sucks so hard that it's not just Disney. I know, like, the company that I work for is a very massive global. It's a huge company, and they operate in that corporate mentality of, well, we're just going to cut things for the sake of cutting things, and you will save a buck, but we're not going to earn our interest back or make a return on that investment because there was no investment. You're cutting things. You're not doing anything to retain your customer base. This is a horrible business practice, and I understand the people who are making these decisions make like 10,000 times more money than I do. I'm just a peon on the internet spouting my opinions about whatever.
You're not a peon.
I'm an important peon.
You are like a pea.
Aww.
And the peons are like down here.
I'm a pea in the pod.
Yeah.
Katie, we're both peas in the pod.
I'm not sure. I might be the pod.
I don't like where this is going.
Just holding it all together.
Okay, there you go. I like that. That's a better analogy. Is there anything that we can do as peas or pods to try and let our frustration be known? Like, is there any kind of change, barring like, I'm gonna ban Disney or boycott Disney? Because that just doesn't seem like an answer to me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the only thing that matters to them is like, just don't spend their money anymore.
Yeah.
Like in the theme park, they used to raise ticket prices, and then the only way they would be like, oh, we've raised it too high, is when like a certain number of people would come and leave the window to be like, I'm not paying that much, and like leave.
Yeah.
And so like, and then they're like, oh, well, we had X number of people to walk away today, so I guess we've raised it too high.
Interesting.
And so it's the same thing where it's like, if people keep buying it, then they're just going to be like, well, we can raise it to $35 next time, you know?
It's true. It's true. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think of Disney releasing Mulan out on VOD kind of underhandedly? You know, after a lot of us have already paid the $30 premium charge. Does it matter to you? Do you just not care? Are you somewhere in the middle? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, we're moving on to email number 4. We have a total of 5 emailed questions today. A lot. I know a lot of people have emailed questions, so I'm all for it. We're low on the movie news, but big on the questions today. So email number 4 comes to us from Ben in Edinburgh in the UK. Ben says, mate, did you see that that Jurassic World Dominion had to shut down production after multiple people tested positive for coronavirus? How will this affect the film overall? And yeah. Oh, this is the that's the sorry, that's the movie hold on, where am I going? There we go. Ta-da! That's true. So Variety is reporting that Jurassic World Dominion had to shut down production of Jurassic World Dominion because not just one, but a few people on their crew. They didn't release names. They didn't tell us like specifically who, like what departments that they were working in. What happened was when they showed up for work on whatever particular day it was, yesterday or today or something, presumably yesterday. As protocol suggests, everybody has to go through temperature checks. Everybody has to get tested for coronavirus every day. And a few people tested positive for coronavirus. Well, when they did the retest, all the tests came back negative. But because there was a positive, maybe it was a false positive, who knows, as their protocols tell them to do, they're shutting down production for 2 weeks. Nobody's coming on set. Nobody's coming into work. Production of Jurassic World Dominion is being halted for 2 weeks so that everybody can kind of like, if anybody has something, that they can kind of calm down a little bit. But Ben, as your question asks, how will this affect the film overall? Blunt answer, it won't. It won't affect the film at all. This is a pretty straightforward case of, you know, like the film has already been delayed a year. They've been working on it for what, 6 months? They've been in like 6+ months filming. They're, you know, the film's not coming out anytime soon. And in fact, as I already spoiled, they dropped a poster for the new film yesterday. So this is what the brand new poster looks like. And then, you know, we come to find out a few hours later, oh, you know, some people tested positive for COVID. They have to shut it down. The poster looks okay. It looks fine. It's just a teaser poster, just saying, hey, coming June 10th in 2022. Cool. We've got a long time to wait for it. I think I said next year, but it's actually the year after. So what?
What is time?
What is time anymore? Katie, where do you stand with having to shut down the production of Jurassic World? Do you think it's going to affect the film at all?
No, 2 weeks. Who cares? 2 weeks is nothing,
It's
right?
nothing.
Like, but also it's the right thing to do because that's how we, you know, protect ourselves. You know?
Yeah, same. I agree. I mean, this seems like a pretty straight cut, forthright, I don't know, kind of an issue. It's, you know, it's what they need to do. It's what they did. Movie doesn't come out for what, like another year and a half, almost 2 years. Not quite.
They got time.
Not quite.
They got tons of time.
Plenty of time. Don't worry about it. It's all good. But question is, what do you guys think? I mean, is this actually going to affect the film? And how much are you looking forward to seeing Jurassic World Dominion? I think it's going to be all right. But the last one was a complete stinker. It was terrible. Anyway, jump down to the comment section below and let me know your
Which
thoughts.
one was the last one?
The last one was Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
I did not see that one.
Don't.
Was Chris Pratt in that one?
He was.
Oh, well,
The first-
he's making a lot of weird choices lately.
the first Jurassic. Well, I mean, like he signed up for a multi-picture deal, but the first Jurassic World, it was okay. It was fine. It was fun. It was stupid. Like
It was real stupid.
nothing will beat the original Jurassic Park. Period. Nothing will beat it.
I agree.
Jurassic World was okay. I would say it was maybe number 2 on the list. It's stupid, but it's kind of fun. Fallen Kingdom, the one that came right after, easily the worst of the entire series. Easily. And I'm even including Jurassic Park 3 with a talking raptor. There's a raptor that goes, Alan! And I get it, it was a dream sequence, but still, it's stupid. Anyway.
That's
bad.
We'll see. That's bad.
Excuse me. So let's move on and take email number 5. Email number 5 comes to us from our friend Dale down in Orlando. Dale says, Mike! And I say, Dale! Dale, how you doing? So this is I guess kind of the big news of the day. Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man, Electro, Doctor Strange. Now, does this confirm the multiverse? And Dale, again, to your question, you asked a question on the show. Was it on Monday, Tuesday, a few days ago? A very similar question. Does this confirm a multiverse? Does this confirm the multiverse in the MCU? No, it does not. The upcoming film, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that confirms a multiverse. But Doctor Strange appearing as Spider-Man's mentor in the upcoming Spider-Man 3 film does not itself make a determination that words are not flowing freely to me at the moment. But anyway, this news is coming to us exclusively from the Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood Reporter was the first news agency to break this particular little bit of news. Benedict Cumberbatch will be joining the cast of Spider-Man 3 as Doctor Strange. Now, in the article, as we scroll down, it goes on to say Benedict Cumberbatch is putting on the cloak of levitation and will reprise the Marvel supernatural hero Doctor Strange for the latest Spider-Man movie installment starring Tom Holland, yada, yada, yada. The movie puts Cumberbatch in the mentor role that was previously occupied by Robert Downey Jr., who played, Iron Man, and Samuel L. Jackson in Spider-Man Far From Home. So this is an interesting little bit of news that we have here. It's interesting that, in Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man's, I guess Peter Parker's mentor was Tony Stark. In the second film, Far From Home, his kind of mentor was Nick Fury. And now we're going to get Doctor Strange as his mentor. I think this is a really, really cool move. And also considering that, 2 days ago, news broke that Jamie Foxx would be reprising his role as Electro in the upcoming Spider-Man 3 film. So I think there definitely are some multiverse connections being made. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a film that is happening. We know that WandaVision, the television show with the Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch, that will be ushering in, I think this is just my own thoughts and projections, I think there's going to be some kind of an event or a series of events in that show that is going to open the multiverse, kind of open the door to the multiverse. I think Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to be the adventure, learning about the multiverse. What is it? And then everything that happens after that is going to be the fallout of said multiverse. We know that Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro in the next Spider-Man film. Which has everybody raising their eyebrows. What in the world is an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie villain doing in the MCU here? Katie.
I have so many thoughts about this.
So many thoughts. You are, I'm going to affectionately refer to you as our comic book aficionado. All things comics, all things comic book movies. Lay it on me. What's your initial thought here?
I feel like knowing on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I know everything, 1 being I know nothing. I'm like a 2 in this question.
So
section, whatever.
Something.
Some things. So here's what I think. I think that it's them trying to do too much, and it will either go really, really great or it will go really, really bad. So, like in Lost,
Yeah.
for example, like the first season felt really cool because they focused only on one character per episode. And then it started going downhill in season 2 and 3 because they started to do multiple character backstories in one episode. And it got too busy. So that's what I feel like by mixing it, the worlds,
And you know,
it
to
might
your
get too busy.
point,
Or
in
it
in
could
the
be great.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, which starred Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, one of the biggest complaints. Now, I'm full disclosure, I like that movie. I actually think it's a fun, good movie, but I'm in the minority in this opinion, so whatever.
Yes.
In that film, one of the huge criticisms was that it was jam-packed with too many characters. You have Spider-Man, you have Electro, you have the Green Goblin, you have not Mary Jane Watson, but Gwen Stacy going off and like her whole storyline. The Aunt May thing, like there was, and then you have flashbacks to the previous film, and then this whole conspiracy of, blah, 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 whatever. And, a lot of people said there was too much happening. You couldn't actually flesh out a good story. Is that something that you think might actually be the case here?
Yes. But also, I have no idea. And, I am learning the words levitation cape today.
Ooh.
So,
literally,
I have no idea. But I do think
thing.
that very, very regularly it's like, oh, people like this thing and this thing. Let's do them both at the same time. But then we miss the heart of a good movie is a good movie because you care about the characters. And if there's so many characters that it's just like archetypes and caricatures, then who gives a crap?
I think that's one of the interesting things about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that they spent the time building the characters from scratch right from the very beginning. So this is an ongoing story that started in 2008 with the very first Iron Man film. And Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige, they did something that nobody had ever done before. Is you build 6 different characters and 6 different stories, and then you bring them all together in one giant mashup movie of the Avengers. Nobody had ever done that before. And now we have 4 Avengers movies, the last one being the highest grossing film of all time.
$100 billion in 10 days or something.
9 days.
Nailed it.
$200 billion.
Okay, well, I was close.
I'm just making up. I'm just making up numbers. I'm making up numbers. But yeah, I think, in all honesty, I think the actual figures, I think it ended with $1.78 billion was the rake. Highest. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And now it just seems like a mainstay, right? You say the Avengers, everyone knows what the property is. Everybody knows kind of what to expect, and that it's going to be a big, fantastical romp through superhero land, right? So with jam-packing this movie with tons of characters, I'm not necessarily worried about it because, we already knew who the characters are. We know what they're capable of. We know their backstories, right? So we don't have to tell too many backstories. But I am a little concerned as going into this, knowing that Doctor Strange is going to be the mentor to Spider-Man in this film, for the same reasons that I was apprehensive about the first Spider-Man film in this MCU thing, which is all of the posters, all of the advertisements. If you remember back, I think it was 2016 when Spider-Man Homecoming came out, Iron Man he was in every piece of marketing right alongside Peter Parker, which made me think, is this going to be Iron Man, like another Iron Man movie, like Iron Man 4 featuring Spider-Man? That's what I was afraid of. And they worked it brilliantly. He played not just backseat, but second fiddle. He wasn't in the movie that much. He was peppered in where he needed to be peppered in, and I feel like that was good storytelling. Mm-hmm. Everything that we've known about Marvel over the years, everything that we've come to understand about what it is that they bring to the table, in terms of good storytelling, and I will say, Incredible Hulk, kind of a stinker. I was not a fan of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel could have been an amazing film, and they dropped the ball so hard on that. in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
2 films out of 23. Do you think that we have any cause for alarm given this little bit of information?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Let's ask the audience.
Ooh, speaking of asking the audience, I think that's actually the best segue right now. So let's end this segment right now and say, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of Doctor Strange joining the cast of Spider-Man 3? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Okay, so with all of that down and out of the way, how are we doing on time? 5:05. Hey, we got time to spare. Let's jump in and take some of your live questions.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
All right, you guys, it is time to take some of your live questions. You have been sending in live questions in the comment section all show long, so let's get Katie on screen. There we go. Let's start reading some of your live questions. And as we go through, Gerald Ramirez, also known as Jetta, says, "Hey, Mike." Well, hey, Jetta. How you doing, Gerald? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us on our movie discussion, just kind of like hangout spot. Katie, Jetta is my barber. And
Oh, hey.
one of the best, but I do not say this facetiously, because I've been to many a hairstylist over the years, and he's kind of the best I've ever had.
I mean, that's an amazing find. Once you find a good person who's good at your hair, never, ever let them go.
Never let them go. I mean,
Never.
coronavirus has been weird because I don't want to be around people, and especially in like those tight, confined spaces.
Yeah.
But
But you still need a haircut.
I've been cutting my own hair. Sorry, Jetta. Sorry, shouldn't be saying. But reach out. Let's talk about possibly making this happen. Carrie Murphy writes, "Hello from Oil City." Well, hello, Carrie. Oil City is my alma mater from high school. Carrie and I were friends all like our entire childhood. We've reconnected on Facebook, like 10 years ago? And we've just been chit-chatting over Facebook for like 10 years. So thanks for hanging out, joining. Katie, have you ever heard of the town Oil City?
No, I thought it was just like a nickname.
I wish it was. I wish it was.
What state is Oil City in?
Oil City's in Pennsylvania. There's actually 3 different oil cities. There's one in Pennsylvania, one in Texas, and one in, I believe, Kentucky?
That feels right
I
on
think
all
Kentucky.
3 counts.
It is the birthplace of the oil industry. You've heard of Pennzoil, the oil company Pennzoil? Do you know
Oh, yeah.
Quaker State?
Oh, yeah.
My hometown. That's where it all started. But now all the oil is dried up and everybody moved away and all the refineries have been torn down, so who cares?
You know,
Who cares?
progress.
The only industry we have there is the local hospital and Walmart. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. So, Danny Doran. Danny Doran from Delaware. Danny Doran from Delaware says, "This guy, what an awesome critic." Well, you, sir, are very awesome yourself. In fact, Danny Doran will be joining us on the show next Thursday?
All right. 1 week from today.
I believe 1 week from today. I'll have to double check. But yeah, Danny Doran is joining us on the show, doing some guest commenting, as you are currently doing right now, Katie. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Danny will be much better than me.
Oh, don't throw yourself under the bus like that.
For knowing as little as I know.
Hey, you're rolling through this like a champ. Like a champ. In fact, Katie is one of the most talented. Can I just plug you for a minute? Katie is one of the most talented improvisers and producers and teachers I've ever met. Seriously, genuinely,
That's a really
seriously.
nice thing to say.
So,
Thank you
I mean,
so much.
we kind of had a jovial jab at our careers earlier, the opening of the show. Not to open sore wounds, but there's some question marks hanging in the air as to why one of the best teachers I've ever seen is we'll just kind of leave it with a ... How's that?
That's great.
... Robbie Spratt from Salt Lake City writes, I think you might be romanticizing James Bond theme songs a bit. That's a fair point.
Yes, I agree.
There have been a lot of bad Bond songs and performers. It's traditional for the Bond theme song to be performed by whatever artist is hot that season. This is true. Some become classics, but a lot are just forgotten. That is a fair point. That is a very fair point, Robbie. I still very much am of the opinion that, a James Bond theme song needs to inform the audience as to what kind of an adventure they're about to go on. And if the adventure is a kind of an adventure, that's an adventure I don't want to go on. If James Bond battled ghosts, I would be all for it. I would be, there was a script written back in the 80s of Indiana Jones and the Haunted Castle, where he was going to go into a haunted castle and like do whatever spiritual stuff that he was going to do there. It never happened. I would have loved to have seen that. None. I would prefer to see ghosts over aliens, which gross.
Get out of here.
I'm sorry, who is that?
The guy who played in the Crystal Skulls, Harrison Ford's son.
I'm sorry, what movie is? I don't know what you're talking about. What movie is that?
Did you just block it? Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull?
That is not. What are you talking about? What are those words coming out of your mouth?
I don't know if you're kidding or not, or if I literally am having a stroke and have made up a film that doesn't exist.
Yep, that's the one. That's the one. She made up a film that does not exist.
No, it's the one. It was like the most recent Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Last
Here
Crusade.
it is, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That's not a thing.
IMDb says it's a thing.
Well, it looks like somebody's lying because I refuse to acknowledge a piece of garbage film.
Oh yeah,
like
it was trash.
Ever.
It was trash.
Not a thing. I don't know who Shia LaBeouf is. Actually,
he's terrible.
Shia LaBeouf is.
He's great in Holes.
Oh, of course. Well, he's actually great in a lot of things. He's the kind of guy that I want to hate. I want to hate him so bad. But
he makes it very easy.
Well, if you look at the stuff that he does off camera, he does a lot of he puts his celebrity and he puts his money to very good use. I mean, after the whole Transformers meltdown, he kind of went on this weird I got arrested 4 times in a week. Shucks. After he kind of got out of that phase, he started doing a lot of really great work with outreach programs for homeless communities in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's great.
I think he's down on Skid Row every day or every other day, trying just making friends and building people up and helping them get back up on their feet and stuff. It's fantastic.
So, that's awesome. I'm glad to know that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And like I said, he's the kind of guy that I want to hate, but when you hear about stuff like that, I'm like, that's really admirable. You're really doing what you should be doing as a human being. So yeah, good for him.
Reaching down, if you will.
Oh, and our last comment of the day comes from a mutual friend of ours, Mr. Carter O'Brien Ford. Oh, Carter. And Carter says, well, he throws in some dirty language in here, so let's see if we can clean it up a little bit. Marry, screw, kill. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, no.
And Jermaine Clement.
Who's Jermaine Clement? Why can't I picture a face for him?
He was kind of the front man for Flight of the Conchords.
That is not helpful to me. Oh, I found him. Oh, I think I'd throw him off a cliff.
So I think we know who Katie is killing. So who would you marry and who would you screw?
Oh, I would marry The Rock. For sure. He seems to be such a nice guy. And I feel like he can lift up any piece of furniture. Oh, that's all I look for in a spouse.
I think I would have to do the exact same. I mean, everyone comes with their own brand of humanity. I think Jermaine Clement is easily the funniest one in the room of those three. but The Rock is just so likable. Like he
Yeah.
just seems like a good person.
Yeah.
Not that Lin-Manuel Miranda isn't. Like he just seems like a great person as well. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to agree with you on that.
You can commit. You can commit to The Rock. That's okay.
Yeah. Let's have a polyamorous relationship with The Rock. Can we?
Deal.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, all of that being said, this brings us to a close of Gotta Love Them Movies. That's it. We're done. We've run out of things to talk about. Katie, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Thank you so much for bringing your own thoughts and expertise and life skills. High five. Can you go ahead and tell all of the good people out there where they can find you online?
Oh, yes, you can find my dog on Instagram at Days of Vern. She's a tiny little rescue from Puerto Rico, and she's much more popular than me.
Aww. And
So that's that.
what projects do you have coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Well, my husband and I are doing a musical improv show tonight on Facebook Live, called Making It Up.
Okay.
And it's called Just Married and Just Gary. Gary's our accompanist.
Cool.
So we're trying that out. Tonight's the second workshop of it. And, I'm just getting by.
And what's the name of it again?
It's called Making It Up, Just Married and Just Gary. So we just are going to do a long form narrative musical, but kind of like a choose your own adventure where we come to the audience in the chat on Facebook Live for every next step.
Very fun. Very cool. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Well, I hope it's good.
Knowing you, it will be. It will be.
Well, Daniel's carrying 50%, so it's 50% going to be great.
Knowing both of you guys, it's going to be fantastic.
I hope so. It's fun. It's nice. I miss singing. I miss,
I just miss being on
before
stage.
time.
I just miss being on stage. I miss having a classroom too.
Yeah.
That old chestnut. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what the entire cast of Jurassic World Dominion would want you to do. I actually have no idea. I just made that up. Anyway, guys, my name is Mike Brown. I'm here all the time, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. Thanks for joining us. We live in a weird world. We live in a very strange and odd place where everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and sometimes they clash. So, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage everyone to speak kind words to each other. If you have an opportunity to infuse or to perform an act of kindness to a stranger, please, or maybe somebody that you know, please take that opportunity and infuse a little bit more kindness into the world. Anyway, guys, this is Gotta Love Them Movies. I will see you right back here, same bat time, same bat channel, tomorrow.